This is the story of the lineage of the Puru. Yayati's son Puru, his lineage. Yadu came down south to where is the present town of Mathura. There, different tribes lived. These tribes, Andhakas, Bojakas and Rishnis and Nagas, these four tribes. These are tribes which did not believe in having a monarch or a king. So Yadu came down and married into Naga tribe. Here, these clans were ruled by a council, not by a king. Yadu was cursed by his father never to be a king. So he came and married into the Naga tribe and joined the governing council. So these four clans together became known as Yadavas because Yadu became the chief of this clan. These four clans together became Yadavas, and a few generations later, Vasudeva was born. Vasudeva's sister was Preeta and Suradevi. These two sisters, Preeta was given as in adoption to his brother Kuntiboja, who did not have children. So he loved this girl so much that he gave his own name to her. Instead of calling her Preeta, he called her Kunti. Vasudeva had two wives, Devaki and Rohini. Devaki had a brother whose name was Kamsa. Kamsa was born out of a rape. Because everywhere else, the tradition and the dharma of the day was, it does not matter how a child was born. If a child was born to a mother who belongs to a certain clan, he became a legitimate part of that clan. But the Yadavas rejected Kamsa. They called him an illegitimate child. They refused to include him into the governing council, though he was a great warrior, because he was, what to say, he was too obnoxious and vulgar in his ways. But he made friendship with another great king of the east, who was Jarasandha. Because of his support, he gathered numbers around himself. For the first time in the Yadava clan, he dismissed the council and wore a crown and said, "I am a king." There was no monarchy in the Yadava clan, but Kamsa came in and claimed that I am the king and dismissed the governing council of elders. So once he was the king, he was the undisputed power, so he went about doing things in his own crude ways. People suffered much, but they couldn't do anything because he had great friends. Jarasandha was a very big force, so nobody dared to oppose Kamsa. He was cursed that he will be killed by his sister's child. When he came to know that Devaki's children, eighth child of Devaki is going to kill him, he said, "I will take care of this, don't you worry." And he imprisoned Devaki and Vasudeva, and they have to count, eighth child is going to kill. You could make mistakes. Suppose you miss the eighth one and I thought it's the seventh one or something happened, you don't want to risk your life. So first child was born and that day Kamsa walked in, a just born infant, he picked it up, holding its legs and smashed it on the floor. The mother was aghast and somehow they wanted to get away from this, but they cannot get away, they're imprisoned. The next child was born, again Kamsa comes in and smashes it up. This continued. Then the eighth child is to be born on the other side of the river. In Gokul, the other wife, Rohini, has born a son whose name is Balaram, who is a little elder. He is before Krishna, and Krishna used to be born. Now they are determined that they must somehow make this child survive, not just for the sake of the child, because they want this tyranny to end. So many things are said, but basically they hired certain occult people who put the soldiers who are guarding the prison to sleep. And Vasudeva took the just born child across the river, and there Yashoda, Nanda's wife Yashoda, had delivered a girl. So he placed this just born male child there, took away the female child, brought it back here. So when Kamsa came in the morning and saw the child is a girl, he couldn't believe it, because the eighth one is supposed to be a boy and he's supposed to be his killer. But he doesn't want to take a chance. Who knows, a girl can turn into a boy tomorrow. Why take a chance with your life? So he tried to pick it up. So Devaki pleaded, see, it's just a girl, she's not going to kill you. It is not a boy who is going to grow up and kill you, this is a girl. She will get married and go away, please spare her life. He had nothing doing, why take a chance? So he just picked up the girl, twirled her, threw it up, but then the girl didn't fall down. She took on a different form and she said, the one who is to kill you is still around. I am not the one, you missed it. Then Kamsa became terrified, looking around, where is this child? When he could not find it, he said, any child who's born in this region, any child within 3 months of age, kill all of them. Soldiers went out, slaughtering every infant within 3 months of age. They don't want to take a chance. Somewhere he may be hidden. They went about killing every child under 3 months of age. But Krishna was thriving. Vasudeva has 2 wives, Devaki and Rohini. The only surviving child for Devaki is Krishna, and for Rohini, she has Balarama and Subhadra. Vasudeva's sisters, Shruta Devi marries Damagosha. The other sister, Preeta, who later is known as Kunti, marries Pandu of the Kuru clan. So here in Gokula, Krishna is growing in a cowherd family. There are many exploits. The first thing is, when Kamsa realizes that Krishna is still alive, he sends a Rakshasa woman, smearing her breasts with poison. She comes. It was natural in those days that any woman could breastfeed any child which needed to be fed, because women did not make distinction between this is my child and this is your child. Those problems came only when it came to kingdoms and other kinds of things. But when they were infants, they were not distinguished, anybody could breastfeed. If a woman offers to feed a child, it was never refused. So Putana came to breastfeed Krishna, but with poisoned teats. And Krishna realized this and he sucks life out of her. So starting from this, there are many events like this which are magical, miraculous, defeats logic, all kinds of things. But we will let him grow up without all that. Krishna grew up into a young boy, became the darling of the town. He dressed with so much care when he was just 7, 8 years of age, that he was very concerned how his clothing was. When he stepped out, he never stepped out of the house without a peacock feather. That is the best decoration you could find, and he made sure he has the best always, with the best smile, with the best attitude, with the best dress, because he believed this is one thing that every human being has to do, that to everybody around you, you have to do your best in your appearance, in your voice, in your word, in your thought, in your deed, in everything. With this he lived always. Nobody ever saw him in any other condition. When he woke up, the first thing he did was he smiled. Not cried, not smiled. Tomorrow morning you just wake up like this and see. For the sake of this one and the sake of that one, isn't this the best thing you can do? Isn't this the best thing you can do? It doesn't matter, you only see the ceiling, you don't want to see who is around you. It is all right, you can smile at the ceiling. No? A ceiling is wonderful, it's not even yet fallen upon you, it may one day. Don't make the house in which you live into your grave. Palaces have become graves because people are staring at the ceiling. That you do when you're dead, you know? There will be a ceiling close up and you stare. You can stare as much as you want. Now is the time to live. So he was an embodiment of life. It is not that he has constructed himself in some kind of morality or goodness or this or that. It's just that he's an explosion of life. Nobody could help loving him. And as he grew, he became the darling of the village and the villages around. The rumor spread, there is a boy like this. Just hearing stories about him, just everybody fell in love with him. Women, whether they were 6 or 60 and anything in between, they all fell in love with him, even if they had not seen him, because people spoke, there is a boy like this, a miraculous boy. Nobody has ever seen him off. He is always on, never off. Okay, Sadhguru, tell me. This is off. Just on, super on, fully charged and on all the time. Krishna is not valued because he's right or wrong. In fact, he's a failure. Whatever he wanted to do, his mission did not succeed. But people love him and worship him 5,000 years later because he was just on, no matter what. It doesn't matter what was happening, he was just always super on, never off. Because the purpose of life is life, and he was a living embodiment and representation of that. He was simply life, all the time life. Generally the image is that he just played, he played his flute, he danced around with young girls, he romanced. No, that he did only till he was 16 years of age. After that, he lived a deadly serious life with a great mission on his shoulders. Making kingdoms, making kings, fighting wars. They say even in a war, he went with a smile. There are only 2 situations or 3 situations where he dropped his smile for a moment. We will come to those situations later. Otherwise, except for these 3 situations, even in the battlefield when he fought, even when he was defeated in battle, even when he had to run away from a battle, still he went laughing and smiling. So this is Krishna, many things happening around him. Not always right or wrong, but life and life and life alone. He didn't let anything else happen. He did not allow depression to happen. He did not allow anything else to happen. Just life in its full charge, never low battery.